It's fucking fire.
Hello and welcome back to Token Talks. I'm here with Greg and Ed, and of course I am Ricardo. Today we're going to be talking about Windows 10s. This got announced a few weeks ago, and I think it's a pretty useless piece of software. Just to give a brief overview, Windows 10s is it's Windows 10, a very locked down version of Windows 10, made primarily for educators, or so they claim, and targeting the market that right now is dominated by the Chromebooks. Chromebooks are cheap, lightweight. The software is lightweight, and it's really good for anyone on a budget or basically schools. And this is what Microsoft wants to break back into. They want to have every student with a cheap ass laptop running Windows 10s. Now, I know that my school used to have laptops. Of course, not for me. I didn't get one, but the younger kids got them, and they used Windows, but they didn't need a special version because Windows had a way of locking down the system to the customization of how the educator wanted it to be. This is just locked down completely. You can only get programs that you can get through the Windows Store, so that means video games, Adobe products, open source products, anything on the web that you would download any other way you can't get. You can only get from the Microsoft Store, or the Windows Store rather, and well, their selection is pretty sparse, and obviously it's limited to Windows products, so or Microsoft products. So you're going to be pretty locked into that ecosystem. Um, so it's designed for cheap laptops, basically under $200, and really not even, at least the way they're making it sound, not designed for consumers, designed for schools and universities to buy and then give out to the students to use. Up until that point, how do you guys really feel about that? I guess we'll start with Greg since you're in the room.
Uh, Personally, like, to me, it seems like a very different way of saying safe mode, but as opposed to just safe mode, it's to say we get to say what's safe,
Yeah.
which means we get to dictate what you pay us to make sure what you want is safe. So it's, to me, trying to go for like that game designer route where it's more them releasing a full product, cutting half of it out, and then selling it back to you as DLC content when it's already there.
Yeah, see, Greg is getting on this other notion that Windows or Microsoft is saying is that if you have it as an educator, you can upgrade the machines for free. So schools will be able to upgrade their machines to Windows 10 Pro for free. But if you have one on your own, like let's say you bought one for college because you're broke, or you bought one for your kid because you don't want your child having a super expensive machine. Well, if you want them to have Windows 10 Pro, which you probably are going to want them to do, you're going to have to pay an extra $50 to upgrade that machine to Windows 10 Pro. And again, what Greg is getting at here is that they don't change anything. You're not downloading a new operating system. It's literally just taking away the restrictions, which means that Windows 10s is Windows 10 Pro. It's just locked down almost completely. So they're basically selling you an operating system so that you pay again to upgrade to an operating system you already have. What do you think about this whole thing, Ed? And just so you know, there is more to the story. I just want to just this far. I want to see how you guys think.
Well, I think so. The price is what the same as Chromebook, right?
At least that's what they're saying. It's gonna be about $150 to $200 for these laptops.
Good thing for schools because schools don't really have that much money yet. We'll get later into the detail about specs and all that stuff. But a pro is that it is cheap. But like Greg said, this is really like kind of Big Brother-ish, where like you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do this. We're controlling it for you. Um, and why would you want to pay that for? I guess you want to make it safe for kids, but buying, you might as well just buy like a Kindle.
Exactly. Like, you both are hitting it like the nail on the head with what a lot of people are upset with. It is, like I said, the older versions, Windows 7, Windows 8, Windows 8.1, all had features that you, as the owner or as the educator, as the parent, could put these restrictions on it so that your student or the user would have to basically use the machine the way you are telling them to use it. You have control. So you, as the teacher or the principal, can control how your students are using the machines. And I know when we used to have them at my high school, a lot of the freshmen, they couldn't go on certain websites, they couldn't download certain programs, they couldn't download any programs, honestly. It all had to come from the school. And this was running Windows 7, This was all done on those older operating systems. They didn't need to release a special version. And it's what you guys are getting at. Windows 10S is that big brother. It is Microsoft saying, this is how we want you to use the platform. We're going to control which apps you can get. And if you want your freedom, or you're going to have to pay for it. Right? Like, even, and this is the thing that Greg, we were talking about earlier. He asked, wait, so you can only have Microsoft Edge? And yeah, the only web browser you can run is Microsoft Edge. So if you want Chrome or Firefox or Opera or any of those other web browsers, you have to pay $50 to upgrade, which isn't even an upgrade. They're just taking away safe mode, right? And they claim it's for the protection of these students and the machines. The thing that's funny is a YouTuber, Barnacles, he a big YouTuber, he showed that on the Microsoft Windows Store, there are some apps on there that are not so friendly. There was like a penis size tester on there, and it's like, okay, so I guess kids are gonna be able to, they can download that, but they can't download, like Handbrake or Blender or Adobe products or anything that they could use to, learn a skill. And there are even kind of malicious apps on the store where people are trying to harvest your data or, kind of break into your machine. Because they're like these free apps. And how do free apps make money? Well, some of it's advertising and some of it is stealing your information and selling it to advertisers. So this app store isn't as safe as people might think it is. And so in my opinion, it really is a ploy to just get people to upgrade to Windows 10 Pro, because educators would be able to do it for free.
Another thing that really struck me was when 10 first released, you're getting pretty much, in my opinion, would be 10 Pro, 10S Pro, because it's just all kind of free. It still has all that freedom. So they're pretty much saying, okay, you guys had that fresh experience.
Yep.
We're taking it away.
Yep.
Just all of it ours again.
Yeah, again, that's another good thing to bring up, that Windows 10 was free when it came out for a whole year. And guess what? You can still get it basically for free, and you can still get it for super cheap. We actually have a video about that on our channel, about how you can get it for like less than $5. So I think this is a big waste. Now, this is the other thing, Ed, that I haven't told you yet. I told Greg about this earlier. So, okay, I can almost let them get away with it when it comes to education. Like, okay, it's a cheap machine. It's $150, $180 machine. Windows 10S, okay, that's part of the reason why it's a cheaper machine, because the operating system is cheap. Okay, cool. It's for schools, for high schools, for grade schools. Cool, that's fine. I draw the line when it gets to university, and this is the other thing I draw the line with, when it's on machines that cost more than $200. So at the same event that they released this information about Windows 10S, they also released or announced these new laptops they're making, the Surface Pro 4 laptops or the Surface Pro laptops, something like that, right? These Surface laptops that they're releasing, the newer versions that have overall are better versions than the old ones. Great. Starting price is $1,000. All of them come with Windows 10S.
Wow.
Now, I don't know about you, but I would never pay $1,000 or more for a machine that comes with Windows 10S. Like, that's a big spit in the face. Like, I just spent $1,000 on a machine, and you're gonna give me Windows 10S. You can't even give me Windows 10 Home. You're gonna give me Windows 10S. So that means you just spent $1,000. You get your computer, you open it up, and you want to download Chrome, and now you have to go and spend another $50 to upgrade it to Windows 10 Pro. On top of the $1,000 you just dropped on it.
That's ridiculous.
It's a premium product that has Windows 10s. It is ridiculous.
For me, that might just be one of those things where they're just like, oh, this is such a good price. The other one's 1,000. This is about 200. This is a better deal.
It's so dumb. I don't get it. I don't get the whole point of Windows 10s, and I really am under the assumption that this is just a way to get people to upgrade to Windows 10 Pro, or just to get more people on Windows 10 in general.
It's definitely just a big marketing ploy, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't see the benefit. And I was watching Barnacles' videos on it, and he was talking about how imagine if you're an engineering student, all your software is open source. You can't use Windows 10s. Imagine if you are getting into photo editing or video editing. Well, guess what? You can't have Windows 10s for that. Let's say you're trying to be like a software engineer or anything like that. Or what if you need these programs like Handbrake or Blender or any Adobe product or any Sony product or any of these other programs that a lot of people use, not only for their livelihood but just to learn these things. As a student, which this is meant for, you won't be able to get through the Microsoft Store. So
I found something interesting. I'm not sure if this is true, but apparently it can't run Microsoft Office.
Technically, no, not in its current state. Microsoft is trying to kind of redo Office and put it on the Microsoft Store or the Windows Store. Right now, it is not on the Windows Store, and you can't run it.
Is that so? That's completely useless. The whole entire 10s, because Microsoft Office, that's what every student uses, unless you use Apple products, but still.
Exactly. So like they're trying to get it to work on it. I don't think it's out yet, so they have some time, but they're going to be putting it onto the Windows Store, which before you couldn't get it through the Windows Store. Before you had to get an Office 365 account, and then you'd be able to download it through there, which is why a lot of college students can get it for free, because they get a free Office account with their university. But the high schools don't get Office 365 accounts. At least when I was in high school, we didn't. And so they're trying really hard to get it onto the to the Microsoft Store, which they're gonna get it. But right now, if it was out today, you wouldn't be able to get Microsoft Office.
So let's take a step back, out of our shoes. I think this might sell a bit, but not as much. But it will sell because there are people that don't know much about computers.
Oh, of course.
A laptop for 200. Oh, that's cheap. I just need to do the basics. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But then it gets down to really, did you know what the basics were when it comes down to it? Because this is saying pretty much, without being able to use Office, it's like, oh, you know the basics? Well, you still can't do those either.
I feel bad for those people because I think they're in for a sour surprise. They're going to buy one of those $200 laptops, right? And they're like, oh, do I want a Chromebook that runs Chrome OS? I think they run Chrome OS now, or maybe they moved over to Android. I don't remember, but I know Google was trying to do something with that. Regardless, do I want to buy this $200 Chromebook or this $200 window machine? And the window machine has Windows. So fuck yeah, I'm gonna get that Windows machine. It has Microsoft Windows on it. That's so much better than Chrome OS, which is true. It is better. But then you get home and you're like, oh, I'm going to download Google Chrome and put my Google account so I have all of my tabs, all of my accounts saved, all my passwords and everything. Oh, can't download it. Oh, I'm going to download Discord. Nope, can't download. I'm going to get Steam so I can play my games. Nope, can't get it. I'm going to download, the client so I can get League and maybe like Paladins and all these other games. Nope, you can't do that. And then you quickly realize that it is no better than a Chromebook. And if you want it to be better, you have to spend $50 more. Which, if you are in the market for a $200 or a $150 laptop, you probably don't have $50 to spend on the operating system. Instead, you probably should have just gotten a more expensive laptop off the bat. But I know this is going to sell, like you said, especially to schools, because schools are the worst. People in charge of the schools are like old and are out of touch and don't know anything, and they just, they see a good deal and they're like, oh, do I God bless you. They're giving us a good deal, so we're going to use them. Because my school, now again, it was never for my grade because I was a junior and a senior. We went from having laptops, okay, tiny little like notebook laptops for everybody, to then the next year, everyone having iPads, which are on iOS, which means, in case for those of you out there who don't know, you can't do anything on iOS. iOS is useless in anything other than content consumption or entertainment. You can't do any type of real work on an iPad or iOS, period. So having an iPad was a waste of money, period. Like, yeah, it might have been cheaper than having the laptops, but because we couldn't do anything with the iPads, it was a waste. Everyone only used the iPads for YouTube, for a messaging app, because they couldn't control what we downloaded through the App Store. Again, we downloaded through the App Store. It was a messaging app, and we were all just sending messages to each other the whole time during class. Basic games you get through the App Store. But we couldn't... How are you going to... Oh, I'm going to use the touchpad to type my notes. Psych. I'm going to have an e-reader so I can have my textbooks on the tablet. Well, guess what? Almost half of the books that we had weren't on the e-reader, so we couldn't have them on the digital. We still had to carry books with us, and it was a waste of money. So I know these people don't know anything, and most likely are going to get this. The only benefit is that as an educator, you can upgrade for free. So you can get it as soon as your students are complaining about how they can't do anything. You can just upgrade them for free, and now you have Windows 10 Pro for free on like these $200 laptops. Unfortunately, they didn't extend that to people who buy it outright, which I think is also not fair. I think if you paid $200 for that laptop, God forbid you spend $1,000 on the laptop and you have Windows 10s, you should be able to upgrade for free. Those are my thoughts. I think we all agree that this is just a crappy product. Windows 10s, stay away from it. And closing statements?
We pretty much just went over it. Like, this was just a big FU from Microsoft, in my opinion.
Yep.
And it just goes away from that product model that we've been expecting from Microsoft, or it was like you either had the freedom without having to pay for like Linux, or you had the ease and controllability of like Apple without all the freedom, and then Windows was just like that gentle center point, like ease of accessibility, control, as well as that freedom.
Yeah, definitely. Like, as PC users, and all of us are PC users, all of us are, computer enthusiasts, we enjoy the customization that comes with Windows and with PCs, and the openness that I can get whatever program I want, create any program I want, run my computer the way I want to run it. And ever since Microsoft released Windows 10 from the beginning, they've been infringing on that. And this is like the most egregious infringement that they've done so far. Any closing statements from you, Ed?
I just think this is just a poor product to try to compete with Google Chrome.
Yeah, I agree.
Not Google Chrome.
The Chromebooks.
Chromebook, my bad. Yeah. But yeah, I think it's just a poor product that cannot be compared to the Chromebook at all. And I can see why Microsoft kind of made it, just try to compete, but it won't really make a big impact, in my opinion.
No, I think you're right. Aside from maybe some foolish superintendents or principals who buy into it. But yeah, so remember, guys, like, rate, comment, subscribe, check out our other content. If you like video games, check them out. We have other discussion videos just like this, and we just cover topics that we find interesting. So we'll see you next time.
Peace.
See ya.
It's fucking fire.